Behind me, this is the Auburn Athletic Complex. If you're not familiar with it, the team is practicing right over here behind the complex, and this is the first video that you will see from about 20 or 30 minutes ago. The team practicing. Nick Marshall, the leader of this team, still don't know his status yet after that citation in Reynolds, Georgia. Describe the atmosphere here. The U.S. almost scoring a goal just now that would have tied it up. They did not. U.S. currently down 2-1 to Belgium. There's plenty more from Les Miles. It was one of those things where reporters were wishing he would come back the second he left the room, almost like Rose asking the boat to come back in Titanic. That's a very confident Georgia team. Well, SEC Media Days is wrapping up. We're packing up and heading back east. Now the goal for Georgia is to match what happened 2 years ago, and that's not letting the heartbreak at Williams-Brice Stadium derail their season. The Central game will only be the Dogs' second home game of the season. The first one probably the Dogs' most complete game, according to Matthew Christian. They scored 53 points against Pell City. An out-of-region battle in Georgia with athletes all over the field for both teams. Harris County hosting Callaway. A lot of guys going to play on Saturdays and probably even Sundays from this game. First quarter, Dre Martin to the pitch. Eddie Culpepper on the outside. Eddie, keep going, dive in for the score, 7-0. The Cavs take the lead. Still in the first, Cedric Maynard gets the carry. Blocks hold well, 14-0 Cavaliers. That's not good. Harris County got off to a slow start, but here's Taquan Marshall. End of the second quarter, rolling out, finds space, and just chucks it down the field. Josh Stein's there.
Bat it down.
Touchdown. Here's the CBS view of it. You can make your own conclusion, but the refs made theirs. They double-checked it, and look how close this is. They say that South Carolina got the first down, and that's what iced the game. We're going to zoom in. Wow. It's not even a game of inches. That's a game of millimeters. While Georgia's still in non-region schedule, Alabama right in the middle of games that count. Smith Station already had one region win coming into tonight, but playing a team like Prattville, that's a whole different animal. The Panthers and Lions playing in their only second meeting of all time. Smith Station lost that first meeting in 2008 at playoffs. It was a blowout. This one, not much different from that. Second quarter, Lions already up 28-0. Kendarius Menora keeps it around the edge and dives in for the score. Lions go up 35-0.
I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win! I believe that we will.
That is Brent Westlake, an Auburn student, a soccer maniac, and a proud American man.
Oh, when the Yanks! Oh, when the Yanks! Go marching in! Go marching in! Oh, when the Yanks go marching in!
He knows soccer very well. He even played the game against U.S. national team's Josie Altidore as a teenager. He says the World Cup is like Christmas every day.
Soccer is such a tribal sport that you find your friends, you find your niche, you find your supporters, and you stick with them. And it's just this awesome communal feeling.
We talked with Brent at different moments of the game to try to understand the agony he and his fellow Americans were going through. At halftime, the game was tied at 0, and hope was very strong. His voice, however, was not.
My voice is hurting a little bit. The vocal cords are getting a little shaky right now, but it's worth it. It's worth it to yell, it's worth it to scream. At the very least, it's just like being back in Jordan-Hare Stadium again.
The second half brought a myriad of emotions. This is when U.S. goalkeeper Tim Howard made a tremendous save, but seconds later he gives up the game's only goal to Germany. By this point, soccer fans were looking out of the corner of their eyes to the Portugal and Ghana game.
It was really difficult to keep up with both games. Watching the Portugal and Ghana game obviously carried a little bit more weight because once Germany scored, we just had to rely on them to get us through.
And that's exactly what happened. Even though the U.S. lost, they still won because their World Cup dreams are still alive. The Auburn fans are ready for more celebrations.
If we win each knockout stage, we're rolling those trees. Just like an Auburn win, it's a win for America, so we got to roll them just like it's football season.
So how did these fans close out the American team's battle cry? With a little local flair. Playing in big football games seems routine for the Opelika Bulldogs. Their calm senior quarterback Matthew Christian has played in plenty of them, but will Central be different?
I don't think so. We just treat it as another game, just another stepping stone we have to get to where we want to go.
Okay, we all know that he would not verbally tout the Red Devils. His coach did, though. Brian Blackman had plenty of nice things to say about Travion Samuel.
A guy that I think is the most dynamic player in football in Alabama right now, and Travion Samuel just continues to make big plays. His all-purpose yards are off the chart.
The Central game will only be the Dogs' second home game of the season. The first one probably the Dogs' most complete game, according to Matthew Christian. They scored 53 points against Pell City. You can attribute many of those points to the aforementioned Matthew Christian. Coach Blackman says he's seen the quarterback grow in all aspects of his game.
He's like having a coach on the field. He seems to be able to get us in and out of the right plays and out of the wrong plays. And our kids believe in him, and our coaches believe in him. And he's just he's a tough kid, very accurate passer. Just does a lot of the intangible things that you want your quarterback to do.
Christian was the Dogs' starter in the state championship game against Hoover 2 years ago in Jordan-Hare Stadium, but he says there aren't many similarities in that team and this year's team.
I think it feels a lot different because we've been there and we know what to expect, and I think it just makes everybody more hungry for it.
Christian says Central has always been a big game for him, going back to his middle school days. In Opelika, Dayne Young, WRBL News 3 Sports on your side.